Good morning, all. It's another beautiful day in Richmond. On behalf of Police Chief Rick Edwards, the Richmond Police Department, to the family, friends, colleagues of RPD members being promoted here today, and thanking the Commonwealth Attorney McEachin and all members of City Council who are here today and all the dignitaries and VIPs. Thank you for being here. To those being promoted today, please step forward to your chairs. We will begin with the presentation of the colors by the Richmond Honor Guard and the singing of the national anthem by Officer Taylor Lisco. If you are able, please rise.
Detail. Hold. Colors. Post. Ready. 2. Present. Horse.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order. Arms. Ready. Face. Forward. March.
Well, please be seated. Beautiful rendition. Thank you, Officer Lisco. Throughout the wide sweep of our lives, we mark the passage of time with notable events. Birthdays, graduations, a first apartment, a new car. It might be used, but it's new to you. It's a new car. Weddings, a job. We grieve and mourn during the sad times too, and we mark those days, but really it's the happy times that land. Well, same thing with agencies. The pride when a new recruit class graduates. The cheerfulness tinged with melancholy and nostalgia during a retirement luncheon. These days are marked in time, but there is nothing like the happiness, joy, and sense of accomplishment that we feel during celebration of promotions. On this day, we are met in this room in happy celebration of these 12 members whose accomplishments not only lift them into new roles, but elevate the department's effectiveness. And it's also brightening our shared future. And in doing so, they gave us another happy day to remember. ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the promotion ceremony for these 12 professionals. This ceremony is another step forward for the Richmond Police Department as we promote 12 members, 2 to the rank of captain, 4 to the rank of lieutenant, and 6 to the rank of sergeant. And we are very happy and proud that the City of Richmond's Mayor, Mayor Levar M. Stoney, is here to provide a special message to these newly promoted officers. Mayor Stoney.
Thank you, James. Good morning, everyone. And it's a great day in the city of Richmond. It's always a great day when we're celebrating graduations and when we're celebrating promotions. Let me begin by saying thank you first. I want to thank our police chief, Rick Edwards. Give him a round of applause, everyone. Chief Edwards, I want to thank you for the great job you're doing, but I know that this is not a one-man show. This command staff and those who report to you are obviously grateful for your leadership, and you could not do it alone without the individuals here in this room, so let's give the entire Richmond Police Department a round of applause. And we have to recognize those who are responsible for the funding of these promotions and the salaries. And that's my friends on the Richmond City Council. Let's put our hands together for Councilwoman Reva Trammell, Councilwoman Ann Francis Lambert, Councilman Andreas Addison, and the man who's responsible for the budgets, the administering of the budgets, the execution of the budget, my good friend, the Chief Administrative Officer, Lincoln Saunders, is with us as well. And last but not least, our Commonwealth's attorney is with us. This is a partnership. None of this happens, the legal system doesn't happen without partnership. And so I want to say thank you for Colette McKeechin, who's with us today as well. You know, just recently, CNN recognized Richmond as the best place to visit in the United States of America. The best town in the United States of America. Last year, Travel and Leisure magazine recognized Richmond as the best place to live in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And I'm here to tell you today that you cannot be recognized or gain any of these accolades without public safety. Let me repeat. You can't be the best place to live, the best place to visit without public safety. And most importantly, you can't be Richmond without a strong Richmond Police Department. And so today, that's a round of applause, Chief, yes. So whether it's those who are sworn, the civilians who work as part of the Richmond Police Department, they help shape our community, keep our community healthy, safe, and thriving, and we are grateful for their service. Now, before I acknowledge the promotions of many of you here this morning, I want to highlight y'all's motto. That is excellence, integrity, justice, and the importance of what the work that you all do for our community. Public safety is the bedrock of a functioning and thriving community, ensuring that citizens can live their lives free from violence and harm and have the opportunity to thrive. Obviously, my appreciation of the police department is a given, but it's for me and for many who serve in elected office, when you have a family, your idea of public safety changes. And just recently, the Lord has blessed me with a little girl living in Churchill in the East End. And not only just my understanding, but my grace, I'm appreciative for the men and women of the police department even more, because I have that little girl at home, and I want to make sure that she's safe and secure each and every night when she closes her eyes. You all play a critical role in maintaining public safety, from promoting justice to fostering a sense of security and inclusion within our communities. You have answered the call and dedicated your lives to protecting residents, responding to emergencies, and putting yourself in harm's way. You are there to prevent potential threats. You have taken the oath to uphold the law and ensure fairness, equality, and justice. Without you, the rule of law would be compromised and our democratic norms wouldn't exist. Lastly, you have made a promise to be community leaders, to engage, to collaborate, and to foster a safer, more harmonious environment. The work that you all do isn't easy, and the importance of law enforcement cannot be overstated. It's simply the cornerstone of a great community. Now we're here today to celebrate some promotions. And to those who have received a promotion for their hard work and dedication to the Richmond Police Department, I want to be the first to say congratulations. You will face new challenges, indeed, and new responsibilities, but you are ready for what the future brings because you are a Richmond police officer. Because few people can and will have greater impact in the lives of those who live in this city, 230,000 strong. I will close just with a few requests. Continue to seek justice. Continue to lead with understanding. Continue to lead with empathy. And continue to have compassion in your heart. Continue to fight ignorance, as hard as it may as well to fight crime as well. Be accountable to yourself, to your colleagues, to the residents and taxpayers of this great city, and be a positive influence in the power for change. Let us work together to continue to strengthen the bonds between law enforcement and the communities that we serve, and let's continue to make Richmond the best damn place to live in the Commonwealth of Virginia. With that, congratulations. Since James is moving around the chairs, better than the deck chairs on the Titanic or anything like that. We're good. No, I think we're good on chairs. There's a lot of moving around up here. But thank you for being Johnny on the spot. Thank you.
Very good. You know, it's a happy occasion when you need more chairs up front, right? So, well, thank you, Mayor Stoney. Each officer will be recognized individually as we display their rookie photos on the screen and their current department photos also. They will be presented with a badge from Chief.
That's my rookie photo, yes.
That was. They will be presented with their badge from Chief Edwards, and our department's finest photographer, Ron Judah, will capture the moment. Thank you, Ron, for your help here today. And then, family and friends, you can come on up and snap photos, roll on some video, have fun with it. We also have that backdrop in the lobby for photo opportunities following the event. Let's begin with our captains. Would Frank Scarpa please step forward? Frank? So Frank Scarpa joined the department in 2004 as a member of the 92nd Basic Recruit Class. As a kid growing up in New York, he had always admired police officers, but he took a couple of different career paths. One such career was owning a pizzeria. He writes, "What a stretch, an Italian guy owning a pizzeria." You know, I only wish that we had a photo of what he must have looked like as a pizzeria owner. You know, that could have been cool to show. Oh, wait, Fawn, can you show his recruit photo, please? There it is. There it is. That's the Pizza King right there. Thank you. When he moved to Richmond, he said he decided to follow that childhood dream and thought the RPD was an exciting place and department to work for, and he took his shot. His assignments have included midnight shift for Sector 211, Patrol Sergeant FMT, that's the Focused Missions Team, their Tactical Sergeant, Major Crime Sergeant, Sector Lieutenant for 311, Executive Officer, and then Acting Captain for 3rd Precinct. His two best summers with RPD, he said, was working the Fugitive and Firearms Initiative with now Major Davenport. He also tips his cap to other important teammates along this journey, Major Gardner, Detective Sergeant Hale, and Captain Flippo. He thanks his wife, Michelle, and his children, Vincent, Gabrielle, and Angela, who have supported him through his career. He says, it wasn't always easy. And now as watch commander, he'll be in charge of the entire city overnight, so it's not going to get any easier for you, sir. Pinning on his captain's badge is his wife, Michelle, and his daughter, Angela. Come on up. Wait, what? What happened? Oh, you did it already? Well, come on up and have your fun with photos anyway. We did it? I was reading my script. Thank you, Chief.
He calls you Ron Burgundy.
Ron Burgundy. Okay, so congratulations, Captain Frank. Did I miss calling Angela Smith to step? Did I also say Angela Smith, ladies and gentlemen, stepping forward. Joined the department in 1993. Her first assignment was the Blackwell neighborhood. Back then, she said the action was nonstop from the time she marked on to the end of her shift. She knew she picked the right career. Her other assignments have ranged from 3rd Precinct Patrol Sergeant, 1st Precinct Patrol Lieutenant, and her work in internal affairs, where her most recent position was acting captain of the unit. But the story of this journey is not complete without mentioning the impressive work that she did with major crimes. She was awarded the Major Crimes Detective of the Year and also the Learned Berry 100% Homicide Clearance Award. Quite impressive indeed. She thanks her husband, RPD Sergeant Percy Smith, for always having her back, not only as a loving and supportive husband and father, but for his encouragement in this challenging and rewarding profession they both decided to pursue. She also thanks her parents for their unconditional love and support, and for instilling in her those core values that have guided her throughout her career. Did I miss it, or did Sergeant Percy Smith come up yet? Here comes Sergeant Percy Smith, her daughter Ashley, her father Robert, and her mother Mattie. Next up, our lieutenants. Would Nicholas Castrinos please step forward? He joined the department in 2008 and was a member of the 102nd Basic Recruit Class. As he transitioned from the military, Richmond, the capital city, appealed to him because he knew he could make a positive impact and it would matter here. He started as patrol officer for 4th Precinct, became property crimes detective there. 3rd Precinct was his next stop, where he was patrol sergeant, and then an impressive 6-year stretch as 3rd Precinct's detective sergeant for property crimes. As far as memorable people in his career, he says, the level of dedication and detail 3rd Precinct detectives put into their work for the community is breathtaking. The complex cases that they have worked together to solve, too many to recount. As far as other skills, and we know who the Pizza King is, but if you want to know about recipes for homemade bread, Nicholas Castrinos is your guy. He loves spending relaxing time with his wife and children, who are now invited to come forward to pin on his badge. Wife Janet, daughters Essie and Ellie, and son Alex. Congratulations. Next to be recognized, Robert Langston. He joined the department in 2007 as a member of the 100th recruit class. He says, being RPD means good times, tough times, family, dedication, community, and service to the people of Richmond. He started in patrol in Sector 211, and his first impression, This career is exciting, fulfilling, and he was working with dynamic, like-minded individuals. He went on to 2nd Precinct Bike Unit, FMT, detective with the Special Operations Division, and a highly effective recruit training instructor. How effective? The stairs in the back corner of this building where recruits went up and down when they needed to be a little more focused in their work. Those stairs are named the Langston Staircase. That's effective. His latest roles were 4th Precinct Patrol Sergeant and 4th Precinct Focused Mission Team Sergeant. He thanks Major Gardner and Lieutenant Prendergast for the opportunity to be sergeant of that team and for the structure and guidance in his development as sergeant. He thanks Lieutenant Sims for the sound advice through his career, and also FMT unit members, Officers Danko, Torres, Black, Colombo, and Mills for being outstanding officers. He says he appreciates his mom for always being the person he can complain to. He doesn't mention what the complaints were, but let's be honest. Probably Officers Danko, Torres, Black. It's not here, but it's his mom, Cheryl, is the person who taught him about discipline and work ethic. Without her, he could not have achieved so much. We invite his mother, Cheryl Walsh, up front to pin his badge, along with Lieutenant Sims. Next to be recognized is Jonathan Nathanson. He joined RPD in 2009 as a member of the 104th Basic Recruit Class. He says he wanted to work for an evolving police department that is leading the way in modern policing. He has an impressive resume, so just bear with me here now. So 4th Precinct Patrol, downtown bike officer, crash team, hit and run investigator, major crimes investigative assault, aggravated assault investigation, 3rd Precinct Patrol Sergeant and FMT Tactical Sergeant, Special Operations Division Sergeant, then to the Office of General Counsel and also the Office of Legal Affairs. Who will benefit from this varied experience? 4th Precinct. Well, he will be 2nd Lieutenant for 412. Oh, they like that. His memorable moments include some big events, a governor's inauguration, Richmond marathons, UCI bike race. He's an avid mountain biker and road cyclist. He loves working on cars, and he worked on race cars back in the day. His list of awards is almost as long as his resume. Sergeant of the Quarter, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers Arrest Leader, twice, and a police medal for apprehending a robbery suspect in Chesterfield when he was off duty. Yeah, he's that good. He'd like to thank his family and his extended Richmond family. Let's please welcome his dad, Alan Nathanson, and his son, Nash Nathanson, who will pin on his badge. Next to be recognized is Michael Rogers. Michael Rogers joined the RPD in 2000 as a member of the 83rd Recruit Class. He says RPD has been an adventure. No 2 days have ever been the same. He grew up in New York, the son of a police officer, and had many family and friends in government. He said RPD chose him. He had applications up and down the Eastern Seaboard, but he said RPD called, and they were the first to scoop him up. He says, Richmond, it was love at first sight. His career spanned from 3rd Precinct Patrol to 1st Precinct to Sergeant in Forensics. He says he was then honored to receive several roles in major crimes, from aggravated assault sergeant to cold case FIT team, to his latest position, homicide sergeant. He thanks the great people who have surrounded him through the years in the homicide and forensics teams. with a particular shout out to super supportive Homicide Lieutenant Lisa Watson. A little something. He thanks his wife Sarah and children for their support and for being so patient and forgiving for the sacrifices they made over the years. He also thanks his brother, RPD Lieutenant Brian Rogers, for making him proud and for allowing Michael to be Brian's role model all these years. A gift that Brian can't really repay, let's be honest. As far as talent, Michael Rogers owns and races a NASCAR late model stock car at multiple tracks in the area. He would like to take this moment to make a crass commercial announcement. Follow him at flowracing.com or his Facebook page, Michael Rogers Racing 09. He says, smash that like button. Shameless. We now invite his wife Sarah and kids, Owen, Winter, and Layla, to pin on his badge. And now we have 6 officers to promote to the rank of sergeant. Would Glenn Golke please come forward? Glenn Golke joined the RPD in 2005 as a member of the 94th Basic Recruit Class. He grew up in the region, and while looking for a perfect department to join, he says a Chesterfield police officer told him, 1 year of experience in Richmond is like 5 years in any of the surrounding counties. It was that easy, RPD it is. Starting as 2nd Precinct officer, he thought, this job is amazing. The next 25 years are going to have some interesting experiences. Little did he know back then that he's not going to be working just 25 years, but probably about 40 or more. That's not in the notes, but it's going to be great. He's been in patrol in 2nd and 3rd Precincts, 3rd Precinct FMT, a SWAT team member, and most recently he's been in personnel and recruiting, where he's been particularly effective. He even recruited his own son, Cody, to RPD. He starts in the 129th Basic Recruit Class in the coming weeks. They have many awards and recognitions in his 18 years, including Excellent Police Duty Bars, Overall Officer of the Month, Unit Citations, a Life-Saving Bar just last year, and a Medal of Valor. He'd like to thank his wife, Amanda, for pushing him to be a better person. He thanks their 4 kids, ranging in ages from 2 to 22 years old. He says they teach him patience. I bet that's true. He thanks his parents for laying a solid foundation of character, the members of RPD who have served as mentors, and all law enforcement, past and present, who have made this profession what it is today. Pinning the badge today are 2 people very important to him, his wife Amanda and Janelle Legoff, wife of dear departed Sergeant Jean-Guy Legoff. Please come forward. Next up is William Kress. William Kress joined the RPD in 2017 as a member of the 115th Basic Recruit Class. He says he's always wanted to be a police officer and even interned at RPD when he was an undergraduate at VCU. He's been a 3rd Precinct patrol officer who then moved into property crimes for the precinct. The Special Operations Division was his next assignment, working hit and run and then traffic units. His most recent position was acting sergeant for hit and run, and he'll be assigned again to SOD. Some highlights from his SOD work have been providing escorts to dignitaries and VIPs, like the Vice President of the United States. He loves traveling with his wife, Emily, and also spending his free time at home, which sounds like a menagerie of pets. He says, including dogs, cats, chickens, and goats. He said that the chickens, they get eggs, but I said, well, what about the goats? Do they mow your lawn? Some people have that, do that. He goes, no, the goats don't do anything. They just hang around. I said, all right, well, this I got to see. Fawn, can you, yeah, there they are. They're just hanging around. That one's on a couch, okay? That's a goat's life. I don't know, it's a new one, but thank you. He thanks Emily for her support and understanding about last-minute schedule changes and assignments, and he thanks his mom and dad and Emily's parents and all the RPD teammates and supervisors that helped him on this journey. Can Emily please come forward to pin on the badge? Next up, we have Kelly Morley. Kelly Morley joined the department in 2007 as a member of the 99th Basic Recruit class. She says her first impression of RPD when she was interning in college, she shadowed several specialized units and participated in ride-along. She says she met amazing, talented officers and detectives that further inspired her to choose a career in RPD. But, actually, her first impression was her parents, right? Martha, code 1318, and Tim Morley, code 1353, both sworn members of RPD, I think, yeah, they are, who encouraged her to pursue a career in law enforcement. She started her work in patrol, 1st Precinct, and she's now a current member of the RPD Crisis Negotiator Team. She recently attended the FBI Crisis Negotiation School to further learn techniques and practices. She says she's extremely proud to work with the RPD negotiation team. She's a first-degree black belt in Taekwondo, so if the negotiation doesn't work, you figure something out. Her most recent position is acting sergeant in 3rd Precinct, and she'd like to express thanks to Captains Flippo and Scarpa and Lieutenant Andorfer for their support during that assignment. She also received support during the promotional process, thanks to fellow 99th recruit class members, Captain Jackson, Lieutenants Hogan and Brian Rogers, and Detective Sergeant Catogio, as well as Lieutenant Castrinos and Sergeant Stacy Rogers. Please welcome retired RPD Lieutenant Tim Morley to the front to pin on the badge. And now, Nathaniel Reese. He joined the department in 2006 as a member of the 98th recruit class. He says his goal has always been to be the very best he can be, and like his academy class motto, integrity above all. He's always wanted to help others and knew he was looking for a department to join, and RPD would have more opportunities and challenges than the other localities did not have. He started in 1st Precinct and has been a field training officer, a master patrol officer, property crimes detective before moving over to major crimes where he worked aggravated assaults, and then his most recent position, homicide detective. He vividly remembers being in the very first RPD training class for the taser. That's when the officers get tased as part of the instruction. Well, he had the privilege of that experience while looking on in the room was the entire command staff and city council. Vivid memory indeed. He's a self-proclaimed huge Star Wars fan, and he's seen every film multiple times. Reads the novels, comic books, collects action figures, clothing, mugs. He even has, he says, a light-up with sound R2-D2 lunchbox. Sadly, not pictured. That would have been cool. Actually, we looked it up. Fawn, is that the lunchbox right there? There it is, we got the lunchbox. That's awesome. He thanks all his family, including his mother and his wife, for their support and the support of his major crimes family, where it's been his work home for the past 7 years. Countless others in RPD who've pushed him to be better, and seeing things in him he he might not have seen in himself. We'd like to invite his wife, Ashley, who he met while she was a dispatch supervisor, to please come forward and pin on his badge. Up next is Jessica Spence. She joined the department in 2016 as a member of the 113th class. Her first assignment was in 1st Precinct, Sector 113, midnights. That's a busy shift. And she says it was everything she wanted out of working for a police department. Now, each stop along her career path has been one busy place after another. Positions in the RRHA unit, 1st Precinct Focus Mission Team, and the Strategic Violence Interdiction Unit, or SVIU, where her most recent position has been detective. She says being a member of these specialized units within 1st Precinct and SVIU afforded her the opportunity with the very best this department has to offer, and these relationships will last a lifetime. She thanks her family and friends, especially those at the ceremony here today. Thanks her parents who instilled values for a lifetime and have been at her side through all phases of her life: sports, college, the military, and now policing, always beaming with pride. Special shout out to her 3 siblings, E, Sarah, and her big little sister, Laura Beth, who has always been her built-in best friend and biggest champion, right or wrong, and for the support, motivation, and encouragement that fostered continued growth and improvement. In RPD, she thanks the amazing supervisors, Lieutenants Hogan, Killingsworth, and Brian Rogers, who shaped her success in more ways than she can express. Pinning on the badge is Lieutenant Killingsworth. Rounding out our promotions is Cleophas Williams. Joined in 2014 as a member of the 110th class, his success started before he even took his first shift in patrol by earning Training Academy recognition with a Physical Fitness Award and also the Nancy White Thomas Award, recognizing the recruit with the most outstanding overall performance throughout training. When he got to patrol in 2nd Precinct, he thought, I get paid to do this? How did I get so lucky? He always wanted to make a positive difference in people's lives and to stand up for those in need. He says, while exploring career options, RPD called first, and we're all thankful the recruitment team did. He has had many opportunities to grow and knew this was the place for him to be. His journey includes 2nd Precinct FMT and property crimes, acting sergeant for patrol, acting sergeant for property crimes, and SWAT. Working for RPD, he says, makes him a better overall and self-aware person. He's more in tune with his mental, physical, and emotional health. While working, he's added to his family of pets. First by rescuing a cat, Ginger, from a dumpster, and then a dog, Cinnamon, from the back of a stolen and unclaimed car. His family called them his Spice Girls. These days, if he's not adding to his extensive Lego collection, also not pictured, he is down at the river with his golden retriever, Colby Jack. He thanks his mother for continuing to encourage and support him throughout his career. Let's welcome his mom, Terry Brown Williams, into the front to pin his badge. Now, if you are able, I believe this calls for a standing round of applause for these 12 great professionals. And now, Chief Rick Edwards will give his charge to the officers.
Well, thank you everyone for coming today. What a great crowd we have. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen this auditorium as packed as it is today, and it's a testament to the people that we're promoting. Again, thank you, Mayor Stoney, for coming, CAO Saunders. I know you rep some of the other folks that have come in since the mayor acknowledged them, but I see our U.S. Attorney, Jess Aber. Thank you so much, Jess, for coming. Chief Venuti, can't believe you're late. I don't know what happened, but it's not going to be tolerated. And certainly some of our community leaders like Charles Willis, I saw Miss Antoine as well. So thank you all for coming today. And I have to notice something else. We have a tremendous amount of retired officers here today. So thank you all for coming and sharing in this show. And thank you all for your service to our city. I also have to thank the family and friends of our new leaders. I've said this often, but it bears repeating. We cannot do our job without the support we have at home. So thank you all, and I'm going to ask you to continue to support them as we're going to be asking more than ever before of them. And just looking at this group, it's an incredibly impressive array of law enforcement professionals. Dedication, diverse skill sets, acumen is very heartening for me to know that the next generation of leadership is sitting in this room, and I'm just so proud of you. So please give them another round of applause. And this week we talked about my expectations for you, and the expectations are high. But I know because of the caliber of people you are that you're going to be able to meet them. You know, some of my philosophy on public safety is it's a complex topic. You know, but everyone who's seen Law and Order or The Shield or these other shows think they understand our job. But what it's going to be important for you to do is to take this complex notions of law enforcement and policing and simplify it and distill it for those that you lead. That's what we tried to do when we established our core values. So I'm going to ask you, I know you all know them, but I'm going to ask you to make sure that the officers that are coming out of this academy live by them and understand them. And we'll start with employee health, wellness, and morale. And they're in no particular order, the 5 core values, but that one to me has to be said first, because without that, we can't be any good to our community. It's like the idea of the masks that go down in a plane. They tell you to put your mask on first before you help someone else. So gone are the days where we expect our officers to be robots and stoics and to stuff it all down. I want you looking for those that you lead, ensuring that they're well, and taking the opportunity to help them put their mask on first. Second is maintaining trust and legitimacy. Now look, there's a lot of things we do in police, but we cannot do anything effectively if we don't have the support of our members of our city. So strive for that. These aren't just words. Look for those opportunities to build trust and maintain legitimacy with the members of the public. Number 3, public safety through community engagement. Now, just last night, we had another one of our pop-up events in an area where we had experienced gun violence a few weeks prior. And it's so important for us to be able to reach out, have those real relationships with our community when there's not crime scene tape up. And sometimes that gets missed on officers, but it's your job now as supervisors to understand that fundamental principle that we need them. We need our community. Innovation through technology is number 4. Now, the way the Richmond Police Department conducts business has changed over the last 40 40 months, 48 months or so. I mean, when we look at where we were, how we were policing, what happens when someone is shot in our city, it is totally changed by the technology that we've invested in as a city. And I want you to master it, learn it, and teach it to the officers. It's a force multiplier, but it's also a fair way to police. Going after the very few people in our city who are doing the crime and not involving others is another way we're going to maintain legitimacy with our community. And finally, and this one's a little complicated, so I will distill it again for you, but you're going to have the mission of distilling it to the officers. It's community policing through strategic planning and evidence-based research. Now that's just an add-on to what we talked about with technology. Being more effective and efficient with the limited resources we have is the way we have to police. We have to know where the crime is, what hours of the day they're going to be. You as supervisors have to know that and make sure we put our officers in the right place at the right time to have the biggest and best impact for our community. Another thing we talked about this week was the philosophy on ways to police. And I've thought about this a lot, and there's only 3 real ways that we police. And when I say police, I don't mean it as a noun, I mean it as a verb. We respond to crime, number 1. That's the basic thing of what we do. We respond rapidly to emergencies, we investigate the cases, we arrest the offenders, and we bring evidence to court. Everyone knows that's what you do. Everyone knows that's what policing is. And I need to make sure that the officers are doing that. You need to make sure that their response times are in proportion, that they're not staying on calls too long. The nuts and bolts of policing is that first part of it. The second part that I think we do better than most agencies is we're focused on deterring crime before it happens. And there's a lot of ways we do that. The biggest one is the number 1 call for service that you all know about. It's the hotspot curve. It's the number 1 call, and that is visits in these crime-ridden neighborhoods so that our community can see us and feel safer, and that the criminals can see us and make different decisions. But there's other ways to do that too, and as leaders, you have to look for those ways to deter crime. Some of those are our outdoor roll calls, community walks, CEP-TED for neighborhoods, so crime prevention through environmental designs. As lieutenants, sergeants, captains, you're going to be looking at your areas of responsibility, trying to find ways where it might impact crime if we put more lighting there, or where it might impact crime if we put a camera there. So look for those opportunities. Understand that that's your responsibility too. And finally, the other way we police is proactively trying to stop crime before it occurs. And when I talk about proactive policing, many of you in this room who are in law enforcement will think of the tactical units, the jump out squads, the narcotics detectives, the federal agents who proactively arrest violent offenders, individuals involved in the drug trade or gun possession. That's an important part of what we do, but to be able to do that work, we have to bring it back to the core values of trust with our community. If we're going to do that, we need our community to trust us. And when we look at some municipalities, you know, I've never been a cop anywhere else, but I know this city. And I know if the Richmond Police Department stopped taking guns off the street, that people would suffer, that we'd have more murders, that we'd have more crimes of violence. So that's an important part of what we do. And you can just look at what happened when we saw a surge of violence in April. We came up with a plan, the men and women in the front row here, my senior command staff, the captains, and brought in other crime analysts, and we tried to figure a way to stop the violence. And using those techniques and starting Operation Safe Summer earlier enabled us to stem that tide of gun violence. And every night there's stories of heroism. Every night there's stories of gun seizures and saving lives. And I'm going to be presenting out in a few weeks on our mid-year crime stats. So last year we had a 7% reduction in violent crime. This year we're on pace for a 5% reduction, assuming we have the last good couple days, on top of that good work. And that starts with all of those 3 ways we police. So as you're leading, particularly when we're talking about proactive policing, what I need you to do is ensure that we're doing it the right way, the legal way, the ethical way. And it's important to note that when I talk about proactive policing, I'm not just talking about what I just mentioned.
There's a crime fighter in this room right now, Dr. Gwen Andrews. Can you raise your hand? All right, so Dr. Gwen Andrews, please give her a hand. So Dr. Gwen leads our Richmond community mediators, our quote-unquote violence interrupters. And every day, she doesn't have a badge and her team doesn't carry guns and they don't have arrest authorities, but every day they're going out in our community along with other city workers and other nonprofits and other people, helping keep our community safe, de-escalating some of these crimes of violence. And that is a part of our strategy too. That is proactive policing too. So thank you for the work you do. And another person I see, Charles Willis. Can you raise your hand for me, Charles? So Charles comes to almost every crime scene we've got and does that similar type of work, looking to make ways where we can improve our community. It doesn't always lead in handcuffs, but it's an important part of our strategy. So thank you for what you do, Charles. Yeah. So now I'm going to talk about the ranks, and there are differences. So to you sergeants, this is the biggest change you're going to face. You were all excellent at the jobs you had. You're the best in the business at what you did. Homicide unit, SWAT unit, SVIU, crash team investigators, acting sergeant, FMT. But it's a different game now. And I'll tell you a story the late great, my old sergeant, late great Herbert Bird said to me when I got promoted to sergeant. He asked me, how many kids do you have? I said, I have 2. He said, no you don't. You got 13 now. And I didn't know what he meant until the first week as a sergeant. And I heard about the divorces. I heard about the dog that was sick. I heard about all the challenges, but that's part of it. So no longer do you have to worry about being great at your job. You have to help other people be great and share the information that you've got in your brain with that next generation of officers. There's another person, and I don't see him here today, but I invited him, Sergeant Herman Loney. He's not, I don't think he was able to make it today, but I talked to him this week, and Loney was one of my sergeants. And I was a cop for maybe 2 years, and I was assigned to a tactical narcotics unit. And I came to him. I've been working on this case for maybe a couple months, trying to get this drug dealer who was going to different hotels, different apartments, setting up shop. I never could get him, and I finally got the information I needed to write a search warrant on this guy. And the information that came when I met with Sergeant Loney was that, yes, he's a convicted felon. He has an AK-47 rifle. He's got a sawed-off shotgun. He's got a bunch of drugs, and he's in a hotel room tonight only. He moves every night. So I came to him excited. I said, I finally got it. This is a reliable informant. We confirmed through the rent office. He's there. I'm going to write a search warrant. And he got a look on his face. And he stepped out of the room. He made a phone call, and he came back. And he said, we can't do it, Rick. I said, why not? I'm sure the magistrate's going to write this warrant. What are you talking about? He said, the type of weapons you have, we don't have the expertise. And I just called the SWAT commander. They're not available. So we're not doing it. I was so mad at him. I mean, I'm respectful, and I loved him, and everyone who knows Loney knows him. Hey, Playboy, I'm sorry, I'm not going to let you do it, Big Rick. Can't do it. And I'm like, please. You know, I've been waiting for this for months, and he said no, and I fumed off. And I never got the chance to tell him that he was right. That he protected me from myself. His 20 years of experience protected my 2 or 3 years of experience from myself. So it's not an easy thing to do. Everyone wants to be the cool sergeant. Everyone wants to be everyone's best friend. And I'm not saying you got to be despised. Don't go that route, right, Major Davenport? But don't worry about being the cool one either. So look forward. Look out for these people, because it is a burden of responsibility, and save them from themselves, even when it's not easy. All right, and to the lieutenants. So this is another jump in the leadership chain. And I'll give you some advice that I've learned over the years, and certainly in my current role in leadership. And the advice I will give you is to learn how to just get things done. At every level of this organization, there have been people that are very smart at explaining a problem. They're very adept at talking about the challenges and the pitfalls of why it can't happen. But I'm always looking for the fixers, the people that'll say, let me take care of that. And when they get an assignment, they nail it every time, or at least they do their best. Because there is nothing easier than being a critic. What I'm looking for, and what every chief after me is going to be looking for, is people that can fix problems and do it. And as officers and sergeants, there's a process, an interview process to get transferred to different positions. Like you can go in there and you can pitch yourself like a used car salesman in those interviews, and you can move if you're a sergeant or officer or detective. If you say the right words in that room, if you have the right resume. But now, as a lieutenant, you're moved and above, so captains and lieutenants and captains above are moved at the needs of the department, at the direction of the supervisors and the chief eventually. And it's not about mastering your resume anymore. It's about mastering your reputation. So if you can do that, you will make yourself invaluable. And it's my philosophy that I want the supervisors in this department to have some say. I want the captains to have the teams they want. Because if I'm going to hold them accountable for their areas of responsibility, I want them to at least have say. It doesn't always happen that way, but they have their picks. And they get to say their point with me. So be the type of lieutenant that captains are fighting over, not fighting to keep off their team. Now to the captains. Now, I'll say, I was the commander of 1st Precinct, and I can honestly say it was one of my favorite times of my career. It is a challenge, but you have so much autonomy. So whatever role you're in, whether it's a precinct commander, whether it's a watch commander, whether it's special investigations, you are going to be a mini chief of police. You will have autonomy. You will make big decisions. And a lot of things, I'm always reading books about leadership. So one of my favorite books of all time is Marcus Aurelius' Meditations. I think I asked you to read another book that I liked, Jocko Willink's Extreme Ownership for your promotional process, and a lot of things in between. But something that gets often overlooked about leadership is the pitfalls of it and the challenges of it. And I saw a press conference with a football coach from University of Georgia named Kirby Smart. He talked about 3 things that just really resonated with me that I'd like to share with you today. And the first one is the one that hit home for me the most. And the first one is, you will have to make difficult decisions that negatively affect people you care about. Now, I've had to do that a lot in my current position. I've had to fire people. I've had to discipline people that I've served with. I've had to not promote or transfer people that I have tremendous amount of respect for because I felt it was the right thing to do. The second one was, you will be disliked. Despite your attempts to do the best for the most. That's another one that I've had to come to realize, because I used to be the cool guy too until I started making all those decisions that the people still hold against me, right, JJ, about the commander's pay? Very mad at me about that? It's still too soon? All right. But that happens, and it will happen more as a captain. And finally, you will be misunderstood and not always have the opportunity to defend yourself. So there are things that happen in this organization where people come up to me all the time and are like, why would you do that? What possessed you to make that move or make that decision? And either because it's civil litigation or there's a HR issue or something that I can't speak about, I have to just earn that. I have to just wear that and accept it and understand that that's the burden. That's the pitfall Coach Smart was talking about, and now, welcome to it. You've got to steel yourself to it, though, and understand it and embrace it. And to finalize things for you, the thing that's given me solace over these last 2 years in this role is a quote that I read. It's on my desk from Eleanor Roosevelt. And she said, "Do what you feel in your heart to be right, for you will be criticized either way." You're not going to be criticized by everyone, but it'll come. But if you understand that this job is whenever you have a job that makes big decisions and big challenges and it matters, you're going to be criticized. So get ready for it, understand it, embrace it, and do what you think's right. And you can look yourself in the mirror every day like I try to do. I'm not always perfect, but I know that that's my guiding force, that I'm doing what I feel in my heart to be right. So lead with care, lead with energy, and lead by example. Thank you and congratulations.